You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, a search warrant in Franklin, Kansas leads to an arrest, the recovery of thousands of dollars of stolen property, and more.
But first, with the arrival of spring comes the arrival of many furry critters coming out of hibernation.
Those furry critters are the ones that break into places and tear the joint up. Well, we'll have more on that. Plus, it is warming up, probably convincing them it's springtime now, but this full spring will come to an end. We'll talk about that and our fire weather concerns coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner, just after 7 a.m. on this Monday, February the 16th. Hopefully everyone had a fantastic Valentine's weekend. Of course, got some rain. Did need that rain. Not enough to really make a significant impact on the drought, but certainly a helpful rain. And these critters,
getting in trouble.
The ones we first showed you, they're out committing felonies. Like, they're leaving their hibernation and committing felonies out there.
You've probably seen the posts of,
raccoons
breaking into liquor stores or nonprofits, falling through seasons. And with spring right around the corner, critters like those raccoons will be leaving their state of hibernation, making sightings even more likely.
KOAM's Mitch Adams brings us more.
As temperatures rise in the upcoming months, some wildlife might be easier to spot as hibernation ends.
Hibernation for a lot of animals looks a little different, so they'll be waking up. Some of them have slept the whole winter away, others were in light slumber.
Once these critters rise for spring, their mission will be finding food, a mate, and potentially a new habitat.
So oftentimes folks will have maybe brush piles or different piles just accumulating around their house, and those are perfect little dens for these animals where they're always looking for the new home, and your home might be the one.
If you happen to have an unexpected encounter with one of these animals, it's best to help them escape and continue their journey.
Animals are a lot more scared of you than you are of them. Most oftentimes they don't actually want to be where they're at if you have found them in your home, and so they're looking to escape. And so if you're able to provide a very safe way for them to escape, even better.
Reporting from the 4 states, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
The Missouri Department of Conservation says to call an exterminator or animal control for professional help if the situation is out of your control.
Now, the MDC also mentioned that nearly 70 different species of mammals can be found in Missouri, and some of them will be found in the gas stations, passed out in the bathrooms after, stealing all the liquor.
Or breaking into Oklahoma nonprofits and falling through the season. I can't believe
these raccoons. When we did that story where they're domesticating themselves in a way. Like, they have gotten used to people to a point that they are domesticated themselves. So when they say, the animals are scared of you, some of them are no longer afraid of you. They will come up to you and be like, you got a bottle of whiskey there? Because if you don't, I'm going to tear up the joint.
Look, I'm just going to say, if they're going to domesticate themselves, I'll be excited if in 20 years I'm able to have a pet raccoon.
I mean, you could have one now. There are people that do have stranger pets out there, so.
That's true.
Well, hopefully no raccoons terrorizing your family or your place of business. And the weather is still very warm and breezy today, so we do have some fire weather concerns. Let's start with our live look from downtown Pittsburgh. And you can see just a few clouds out there right now, and that's the expectation through the morning. Looking pretty good. Same from the Westco camera, 7th and range line in Joplin. There are those clouds, and there's some clear skies overhead. KDOT camera just south of Pittsburgh, looking along 69. Looks good so far as well. And our final stop, the MoDOT camera, 20th and range line in Joplin. Not a bad start to the day either. Clear skies. Now, we do have these fire weather watches in our far northwestern counties. These will take effect tomorrow and run through tomorrow evening. It's very likely they'll be replaced eventually, probably by red flag warnings. It's also at least a pretty decent possibility we could see those expanded a bit, simply because it's going to be breezy today and very windy tomorrow across most of the area. So no outdoor burning today, tonight, tomorrow. No discarding your smoking materials out of the car, off your front porch, or whatever the case may be, because it's going to be very dry, very windy, and fires can start and spread very quickly under these conditions. We're at 45 in Joplin right now, 42 in Pittsburgh, and a look at temperatures around the region. For the most part, we're all kind of hanging out into the low to mid 40s. We have some cooler spots out there. Jay, for example, at 30. Grove's at freezing. Jay, you're pretty close to normal. At Fort Scott, I'm just doing a quick spot. Okay, you're tied up now with Parsons, but Fort Scott and Lamar has been at 46 all morning long. Since we went on at 5 a.m. on KOAM, 46 degrees. Lamar Parsons, though, now joining you with these warmer temperatures. South winds today gusting upwards of about 30 miles an hour, a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies or otherwise dry as we head through our Monday. Temperatures through the morning, eventually into the low 50s by 9, mid 60s by noon. Highs today, upper 60s, some low 70s. I mentioned those winds gusting to 30. Winds ramp up tomorrow, again increasing that fire weather concern. We're going to talk about that and when these temperatures are going to drop to normal levels here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. Kansas Highway Patrol executes a search warrant in Franklin, Kansas Friday morning. According to the Crawford County Sheriff's Office, the warrant stemmed from an ongoing stolen property investigation. Investigators seized thousands of dollars worth of previously reported stolen property, suspected methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia, and suspected unlawful suppressors and fully automatic firearms. Chad Swayze was arrested and transported to the Crawford County Jail. He's currently being held on 26 charges, but more could be filed. The investigation is still ongoing. Anyone with information is encouraged to contact authorities. Well, police in Kansas City, Missouri are investigating a mass shooting that happened at a nightclub. Someone opened fire at the Status nightclub early yesterday morning. 2 women died from the gunfire. Another woman and a man were wounded. Police say the man is in critical condition. Investigators say the victims had been talking with one another before the gunshots rang out. No one is in custody and police are now looking for the person responsible. An attempted arson at a controversial warehouse site is now under investigation. Authorities say a woman tried to ignite the building using lighter fluid as debate continues over plans to turn the facility into a possible ICE detention center.
A woman walks up to the southwest corner of the warehouse, throws lighter fluid against the building, and sets that accelerant on fire. Criminal defense attorney Henry Service, with no involvement in this case, said this woman, if caught, likely faces jail time for arson.
Making a political statement and committing crimes could land you in a lot of trouble.
While her attempt to light the concrete building on fire didn't work, she tried to keep the flames going by spraying lighter fluid on them.
That fire can travel back up that stream of accelerant, and like I said, any spilled on you, that's gonna go up quicker than anything.
The woman's actions have been universally condemned by government leaders, but their statements are sharply different about the now dead deal to turn the building into an ICE facility. Kansas City Mayor Quinton Lucas said, "I am outraged by federal efforts to place 10,000 human beings in cages inside distribution warehouses." A statement from ICE said, "These will not be warehouses. They will be very well-structured detention facilities." Congressman Mark Alford said, "This type of violence is the intended outcome from the left's incessant threatening of federal law enforcement officers." Jackson County Legislature Chair Manny Abarca said what the woman did is the wrong way to protest. Here's what he called a potential new ICE detention center Thursday.
A concentration camp and a community for profit.
Ultimately, Service said it's the woman who chose to light the fires.
For insignificant consequences to the building, she's got significant consequences to her life.
And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, we've got Lori Langley in the studio making a Fat Tuesday bundt cake. Well, welcome back. We've got Lori Langley in the studio, and we are in the Mardi Gras spirit.
We are.
Making a Fat Tuesday bundt cake.
Yeah, it's all going down tomorrow, whether you realize it or not. This month is already just zooming by for us, so we've got to get prepared. You've got today. Get all of your ingredients. In the break, in between our first segment and now, we creamed together everything for our cake batter. And it's pretty basic pound cake. We started out with butter, sugar, flour, a little bit of baking soda, some vanilla, some eggs, all of the standards. And if you have a favorite recipe that you love that's a vanilla pound cake, use that. It's perfectly fine. You can even start with a pound cake mix. But you'll see this is a very thick dough. Yes. We were commenting, it's like for a cake batter, it is very, very thick. And you'll see that it is almost enough to just hold up my spatula indefinitely. It gets a little bit lazy. So that's on purpose, but it's also very smooth and creamy. So you'll see that batter in there. You want to get all those lumps of the butter out of that and make sure your sugar is really well incorporated. So we should have a thick but very nice and smooth dough. We're starting with that bundt cake pan, and we've got the cinnamon and sugar and a little bit of brown sugar as well in that we mixed up to start with as well. And I actually like to take just a little bit of that and put it in the bottom of my pan to start with. So we get just a little bit of that almost crunch to the top as those flavors kind of melt in as they bake. That's totally optional. Make sure that you grease, spray, flour, whatever your preference is on that, your pan really, really well. Anytime we do a bundt cake, that is so important so that it turns out nicely.
And this isn't one you can just pour the batter in.
Nope, you're spooning this one in. You could almost put this in a bag and pipe it in there if you really wanted to save a little bit of mess. But we just want to make a nice layer all the way around there. About half, not quite half of our batter. And then we're going to sprinkle a solid layer of that cinnamon and sugar in there.
Very nice.
Get a good coating on there, and then we're going to come back with another layer. You're going to do a couple layers of your sugar and then like 3 layers of your batter. And then once you get it all in there, we're going to swirl it together just a little bit because we don't want to obviously have broken layers of our dough. Get just a little bit more. Make him nice and even there.
Yeah.
Some more of that good cinnamon mixture. And then we're going to plop in the last of that batter. But once we get it in there, we want to take a fork, a knife, it doesn't really matter what you use. You can even use the edge of your spatula. But we want to stir this together just a little bit. We don't want to totally mix it, but we want to get kind of some swirls of that cinnamon in there instead of it just being harsh layers.
Yeah.
So we'll get some of this kind of brought around, and then I'm just going to take that spatula and kind of worm it around in there a little bit. That's a technical term. And make sure that that batter is really well smoothed out into the pan. Now, I didn't come close to using all of that mixture. That's kind of a lot. But also, I doubled my dough recipe for this because I like a really nice, thick, tall bundt cake when it comes out of there. That's your option. So I actually made a double batch, and I made a couple of these with a smaller pan. And what happens is then you get that all the way to the top. So when we come back, we're going to pop that out. We're going to make it glaze for the top. Ooh. And really bring our Mardi Gras colors together.
Oh, I can't wait. It already smells so good with that cinnamon.
Right.
We're going to be right back. Well, welcome back. Lori Langley is showing us how we're getting this Fat Tuesday bundt cake. It's Mardi Gras ready. It is Monday.
We call it whatever you need to. Yeah. I'm telling you. Ideally, when you get this out of the oven, and it is going to take about 45 to 55 minutes to bake, depending on where you're at and what your oven bakes up like, you're going to do in the pan for 10 or 15 minutes. If yours comes up just a little bit like mine did, again, I added extra batter to this.
Yeah.
You can level that just a little bit, and we're going to turn this right out onto our plate. And if you really greased and floured your pan, well, he'll come out really nice and even on the top.
Oh, beautiful.
Now, yours probably won't come out with a piece already sliced. That's the magic of television.
You're just really talented, Lori.
It's pre-sliced, pre-decorated. It's like a Disney cartoon.
Yeah.
We're going to just show you, though.
Oh, that nice swirl.
That little swirl is in there. But what I've got over here is a little powdered sugar, a little bit more of that whipping cream. I'm going to add to it just another dash of cinnamon because we can't get enough cinnamon into that. And then we're going to pour this over the top. What's really going to make us a nice little sort of Mardi Gras vibe going onto this is while that glaze is nice and fresh and soft, we're going to sprinkle it with some sanding sugar in our Mardi Gras colors.
That'll be so fun.
So traditionally that would be purple, green, and gold. Unfortunately, your professional baker today grabbed the purple and green, but she did not grab her gold.
I wore yellow to make up for it.
We're going to have to just do it in front of your beautiful yellow dress so that we have a little bit of that in there.
It'll be Mardi Gras.
It's perfect. We planned it this way.
Yeah.
Totally did that. So we're going to add just a little bit of that glaze all the way around.
Very nice.
You can't have too much. You can make twice this recipe if you want, 3 times. No judgment. Put as much or as little on there as you want, but just get a nice even amount of it. Let it set for a sec, and it will kind of drizzle down there. We're just going to tap it down those edges a little bit.
Ooh.
So we've got some kind of in and out. You want some in the middle. You can add some fresh fruit in the center of this. Some strawberries would be amazing. But again, like I said, while it's really fresh, because that glaze will set up quickly, just sprinkle some sections with those colors, because you have to be able to see them. You don't want to mix them all together. You want to see that line.
The kind of striping of it. Yeah.
And that's what kind of gives us that king cake vibe. Oh, and there's the yellow. Happy Monday. We'll skip a little space there for some more of that and add a little bit. The sanding sugar is nice because it's not too crunchy.
Yeah.
It's not too much over the top, doesn't add a ton of extra sweetness, but it does add a nice sparkle and a nice color. So as you slice that out for everybody, it's just going to look so festive, and it's a perfect way to celebrate tomorrow and have a little fun with it.
Oh, it's so much fun. I can't wait to be able to try this, Lori. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Well, happy almost Mardi Gras season. Happy almost
Fat
Fat
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yes.
So we'll be right back. Well, welcome back. Lori Langley is showing us how we're getting this Fat Tuesday bun cake.
It's
Mardi Gras ready. It is Monday.
We
That's
call
how
it
we know
whatever
it's-
you need to.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Ideally, when you get this out of the oven, and it is going to take about 45 to 55 minutes to bake, depending on where you're at and what your oven bakes up like, you're going to do it in the pan for 10 or 15 minutes. If yours comes up just a little bit like mine did, again, I added extra batter to this.
Yeah.
You can level that just a little bit, and we're going to turn this right out onto our plate. And if you really greased and floured your pan, well, he'll come out really nice and even on the top.
Oh, beautiful.
Now, yours probably won't come out with a piece already sliced. That's the magic of television.
You're just really talented, Lori.
It's pre-sliced, pre-decorated. It's like a Disney cartoon.
Yeah.
We're going to just show you, though.
Oh,
how
that
nice
swirl.
that little swirl is in there. But what I've got over here is a little powdered sugar, a little bit more of that whipping cream. I'm going to add to it just another dash of cinnamon, because we can't get enough cinnamon into that. And then we're going to pour this over the top. What's really going to make us a nice little sort of Mardi Gras vibe going onto this is, while that glaze is nice and fresh and soft, we're going to sprinkle it with some sanding sugar in our Mardi Gras colors.
That'll be so fun.
So traditionally that would be purple, green, and gold. Unfortunately, your professional baker today grabbed the purple and green, but she did not grab her gold.
I wore yellow to make up for
We're
it.
going to have to just do it in front of your beautiful yellow dress so that we have a little bit of that in there.
It'll be Mardi Gras.
It's perfect. We planned it this way.
Yeah.
Totally did that. So we're going to add just a little bit of that glaze all the way around.
Very nice.
You can't have too much. You can make twice this recipe if you want, 3 times. No judgment. Put as much or as little on there as you want, but just get a nice even amount of it. Let it set for a sec, and it will kind of drizzle down there. We're just going to tap it down those edges a little bit.
Ooh.
So we've got some kind of in and out. You want some in the middle. You can add some fresh fruit in the center of this. Some strawberries would be amazing. But again, like I said, while it's really fresh, because that glaze will set up quickly, just sprinkle some sections with those colors, because you have to be able to see them. You don't want to mix them all together. You want to see that line.
The kind of striping of it. Yeah.
And that's what kind of gives us that king cake vibe. Oh, and there's the yellow. Happy Monday. We'll skip a little space there for some more of that and add a little bit. The sanding sugar is nice because it's not too crunchy.
Yeah.
It's not too much over the top, doesn't add a ton of extra sweetness, but it does add a nice sparkle and a nice color. So as you slice that out for everybody, it's just going to look so festive, and it's a perfect way to celebrate tomorrow and have a little fun with it.
Oh, it's so much fun. I can't wait to be able to try this, Lori. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Well, happy almost Mardi Gras season. Happy almost
Fat
Fat
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yes.
So we'll be right back.
In a mess with the IRS?
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:23 now on this Monday morning. We're starting with our fire weather watches, which we have in effect. They'll go into effect tomorrow and run through the evening hours tomorrow into our northwestern counties. Could we see these expanded? I'd say it's a possibility. Will they be upgraded to red flag warnings? Probably so. But it is definitely something we want to keep an eye on because it's not just tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be the breezier day, but we are breezy today. We are dry today. So no outdoor burning, no discarding smoky materials or anything else that's flammable off your porch, out the car window, whatever the case may be, because under these conditions, fire could start and spread very quickly, even from a small spark. So do be cautious. And I know we got rain over the weekend, not enough. And our drought situation is not that great yet either. That rain was not enough. It's going to take more rain to help us out, but at least we did get something, which is certainly better than getting nothing. Here's our concern with the winds. Today, we are looking at those gusts up to about 30 miles an hour. So as we go later to the evening, we start to see maybe 30 to 35. And as we head toward tomorrow, those winds are going to start to pick up. Now we're in that 35 to about 40 mile an hour range on the wind gusts. And as we go into our Tuesday, now we're seeing them really pick up here. We're seeing those gusts anywhere from 35 to about 45 miles an hour as we go through the day on Tuesday. And you can see these gusts also expected to be fairly widespread. So even though we only have the fire weather watches in our northwestern counties, it does not mean it's only windy up there. It's going to be breezy everywhere. You've got to be careful everywhere out there. We're going to be mostly clear, partly cloudy through a good portion of the day today, which is really what we're seeing right now in the morning hours. We go into the late night and overnight hours. Clouds begin to increase. We're eventually going to go mostly cloudy after midnight. And even though we will be mostly cloudy, don't let those clouds convince you to thinking, oh, it's going to rain, and so it's all right if I do a small fire because the rain will be here. It's not, okay? It may look like it wants to rain. It will not rain tomorrow, which means Mother Nature, the only thing she's going to be doing is helping to fan the flames. So again, don't do any outdoor burning. Can't stress that enough. We go through the day. Future track in the evening, if you watch, you'll see a sprinkle or two. So even if we did get that, which isn't looking likely, it again wouldn't be enough to make a difference out there. So again, still no burning. We want to continue that at least into Wednesday. We're going to have some partly cloudy skies. We're breezy in the morning, and then in the afternoon, at least right now, winds are expected to ease up a bit. We're partly cloudy, and then as we head into the evening, those winds are going to start to pick back up again for us on Wednesday. And you can see clear skies out there from the Westco Camera 7th and range line. Off in the distance, a few clouds off to the left corner of your screen there. We're going to be the upper 40s to start and about 60 by 11 o'clock this morning. Into the afternoon we go, highs into the upper 60s, some low 70s down south, not out of the question. And again today, south winds 10 to 15, gusting to 30. That'll remain the case for most of tonight. With those winds, partly cloudy through the evening, mid-50s by 10, mild tonight, back in the low 50s. And as we head into tomorrow, about 70, and those winds start gusting upwards of 45 in some cases, maybe a bit higher. We're still mild Wednesday, low 70s. Even Thursday, we make the upper 60s, but a cold front comes in. Could bring a shower or a brief flurry Friday into Saturday. You can see the chances are low, not looking impressive, nothing to worry about, but it's a possibility. But take a look at these temperatures. We're dropping back to, if not a hair below average into the weekend, so get ready for some temperature shock, a little milder toward the middle of next week. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29. I'm Samantha Walker. Here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, again, we've got a pretty nice day out there. Clear skies, just a few clouds from downtown Pittsburgh. Westco Camera 7th and range line looking good. Just a few clouds out there as well. Quick stop to the KDOT camera, 69-400. Looking north, looks okay. Sunshine coming through, and same from the MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin. A reminder, fire weather watches our northwestern counties go into effect tomorrow and run through tomorrow evening. But really, fire weather concerns across the entire region with gusty winds starting today. We're sitting at 45 in Joplin right now, 42 in Pittsburgh and around the area. This is what we've got. Majority of us into the low mid 40s out there. We do still have some 30s. Jay is the cold spot sitting at 30. Our warm spot is Fort Scott. Fort Scott didn't want to stay tied up at 46, so they've now increased to 48 degrees. And again, already on the way to another very warm day. A mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies as we head through the day. We'll have south winds out there gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. So again, no outdoor burning. Low 50s by 9, mid 60s by noon, upper 60s, low 70s for our highs. Gusty winds continue tonight and even more so into tomorrow. We're staying dry, and then these temperatures returning to average in the next few days. Details in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Thanks, Chris. Yesterday, the Langston Hughes Cultural Society hosted a birthday celebration honoring the Joplin native. The event was held at the Minnehackney Community Service Center and marked what would have been the prolific poet's 125th birthday. Joplin Mayor Keenan Cortez presented a proclamation, and a representative on behalf of State Senator Jill Carter delivered a resolution that will later be read on the floor of the Missouri Capitol. Organizers say celebrating Hughes is also about inspiring the next generation to reconnect with poetry and the written word. Well, Neosho's Bright Futures held its bowling tournament this weekend at Edgewood Bowling Alley, welcoming teams of all ages to compete. Prizes were awarded for the best and worst teams, as well as the best dressed group. Attendees took part in a silent auction, supporting a great cause in the process.
It's so much fun, and we've partnered with Jennifer Clark, the owner here at Edgewood Bowling Center, and she donates this whole entire bowling center to us, so it costs nothing. So everything we make today is 100% profit. We are so grateful for our community members and businesses. We wouldn't be able to do this without their support.
Even those who didn't bowl left with smiles, enjoying the festive atmosphere and the chance to give back. Well, Saturday, more than 100 people participated in the law enforcement Torch Run Polar Plunge for Special Olympics Kansas. The Torch Run Polar Plunge is a 20-year tradition and held again at the Crimsonville Apartments. Teams from all over raised funds in advance, promising to those donating they'll take the polar plunge into the 46-degree waters. The program has grown immensely over the years.
This is an awesome event, knowing that when we started this event we raised $200 and now we're up over $30,000, and seeing that the first time we plunged we had like 15 people, now we have over 100 plungers, we have numerous teams, businesses, sponsors. It's pretty awesome.
The money raised stays local in Southeast Kansas to fund Special Olympic events and also to send athletes to the state Summer Games events in June in Wichita. Well, pranksters of all ages dressed in colorful costumes representing Crew de Prank marched in a Mardi Gras-style parade on Sunday, but not in New Orleans. Residents in Kansas City, Missouri celebrated the annual traditions, some music, dancing, and family-friendly fun. The crews carry out pranks on other Crew neighborhoods by covering residents with toilet paper and silly string. The Crew de Prank describes itself as Kansas City's first and only kids scene to boost prankster super crew to spread joy with a little ornery. Well, that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. What better way to prepare for fasting than a donut eating contest? We're taking a look at Poland's Fat Thursday. In Consumer Watch, Wendy's says it's planning to close hundreds of restaurants as it suffers a business downturn. The fast food giant says it's shutting down about 5 to 6% of its U.S. locations, equating to around 240 to 360 store closures. Wendy's says the move comes following an 11% drop in sales domestically and a 10% drop in global sales in the fourth quarter. Some locations have already ceased operations in West Lafayette, Indiana, Stockton, California, and Langhorne, Pennsylvania. The chain says the closings will help franchise partners focus on profitable locations. Well, the U.S. Department of Agriculture issues a recall over potential E. coli contamination in various ground beef packages. The USDA issued a Class 1 recall on Wednesday, affecting around 23,000 pounds of ground beef produced by CS Beef Packers. The packages were produced on January 14th and shipped to California, Idaho, and Oregon. The Food Inspection and Safety Service identified the presence of E. coli during a test at a downstream customer. The USDA says the recalled products were intended for food service locations such as restaurants and cafeterias instead of grocery stores. According to the USDA, there are no reports reported illnesses yet from the product. The FSIS is urging food service locations and customers to dispose of any suspicious products or return them to the place of purchase. A new pop-up bar has opened on Wisconsin's Lake Winnebago. It's a unique spot that started selling drinks just in time for the sturgeon spearing season. Fox's Josh Cavender has the story.
A mile out from the shore of Lake Winnebago sits an unlikely sight. The first ice bar run by Sturgeon Spirits in Oshkosh.
So we are standing on about 2 feet of frozen ice as we made our way out here, and you can kind of see what we have. We have a nice pop-up bar, and we have cocktails, and we have bottles.
The bar is a fully legal operation, thanks to some creative loopholes and a change in alcohol laws back in 2024 that allowed a second location.
It said the second retail license could be anywhere. It didn't have any specifications, and I said from the very minute I started thinking about this, I'm like, how do we sell our product on the lake during sturgeon season?
The bar on the ice is offering 7 specialty drinks to those brave enough to make the journey a mile off the shore, and they'll be retired once the bar closes up shop. Visitors who made their way to the bar say it's worth the drive.
It was a little scary at first driving out, but it's been so much fun. Everybody that's been here so far has stopped by, had a couple drinks, talked, and I met a few people who are sturgeon spearers. I caught my first sturgeon. Yay.
It's pretty neat. It's cool that it's a local business and everything. And a lot of people have always talked about someone should put a bar and sell drinks out here. They'd probably make a killing, so now someone's doing it.
The bar isn't just for those spearing sturgeon. It's open to everyone.
I mean, I think a minority of people are actual spearers. They just wanted to they needed an excuse to get together, get out on the lake, enjoy a beautiful day, have a cocktail with friends, and that's really what Sturgeon Spirits is all about.
The bar will be open for the next 2 sturgeon spearing weekends, closing up shop on February 22nd. On Lake Winnebago, Josh Cavender, Fox 11 News.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 7:42 now on this Monday morning. We're going to start again with our fire weather watches in our northwestern counties. Now, these officially go into effect tomorrow and run through tomorrow evening. Could they be upgraded to red flag warnings? Very likely. Could this be expanded? I'd say it's at least a possibility. We're going to have gusty winds starting today and continuing at least through Wednesday, but our greatest fire danger comes tomorrow with some of the strongest wind gusts that we are expecting. So here's what we've got on the wind tracker. So today, we're still looking at those south winds gusting, say anywhere from about 30 to maybe 35 miles an hour. But as we head into tomorrow, that's when we start to see these pick back up. Now we're looking upwards of 30 to 40 miles an hour, 40 mile an hour wind gusts. And as we go into the afternoon and evening hours, we're starting to see a little more widespread, anywhere again though from 35 to 45 mile an hour wind gusts. And so any kind of spark out there could turn into a fire that could spread very quickly, because even though we had rain over the weekend, we are still very dry across the area. These gusty winds are not going to help the situation. So again, no outdoor burning. Be cautious discarding smoky materials, whether it's off your porch, out the car window. Just don't do it, because even that could spark a larger fire and cause a much more significant problem. So if you've got things you need to burn, it's just going to have to wait for a few more days. And then again, Wednesday, we'll see the gusty winds returning, not as breezy, but still gusty conditions out there. Outside of that, a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies as we head through the day today, and of course breezy. As we go overnight though, clouds will begin to increase, and even though it may look like it wants to rain tomorrow, and you might think, oh well, it's going to rain soon, I can do this small fire, it'll be fine. It's not going to rain tomorrow. It may look like it wants to. It is not. It is simply going to be mostly cloudy. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Future Track is hinting briefly at a shower or two. Even if that happens, which isn't very likely, it's not enough to be helpful of any help rather for any kind of dry conditions. So just no outdoor burning, all right? And our drought conditions still not getting any better either. Even though we had the rain, it's going to take a lot more to get us back where we need to be. As we go into Wednesday, we're going to be partly cloudy through the day. Winds gusty in the morning. They should ease up for a bit in the afternoon and then resume being gusty, just not as breezy as we go into Wednesday evening and into the overnight hours. We're looking at the winds maybe 20 to 25 miles an hour is a little more likely Wednesday versus the 35 to 45 we're expecting tomorrow. All right. few clouds out there, so this is what mostly clear looks like from the West Coast camera. 7th and range line. Upper 40s to start, near 60 by 11 o'clock this morning. Our highs today into the upper 60s and some low 70s down south. South winds again gusting upwards of 30. That'll remain the case overnight tonight. Mild mid 50s by 10, low 50s for our overnight lows. And as we go into tomorrow, again, those south winds gusting 35, 45 miles an hour, about 70, low 70s Wednesday, upper 60s Thursday. Cold front later in the day, though. This is going to be a bit of a temperature shock simply because we've had this false spring going on for so long. We're going to return to average, maybe even a little below average into the start of next week. So be ready for some pretty cold temperatures. Mild again by Wednesday of next week. And you see those slight chances of a shower or flurry late Friday into Saturday. As you can see, the chances are pretty low. Not expecting much there, if anything at all. Let's check your forecast. More of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Well, Downing Street's Chief Mouser is celebrating 15 years on the job. Larry the cat was adopted by number 10 Downing Street in 2011.
After the UK government admitted to an issue with rats in the building, the 19-year-old tabby has since served under 6 prime ministers and is still fit and healthy, perhaps the next prime minister.
Yeah. Larry's caretakers say despite his old age, he was still seen catching mice last year.
That's a very, okay, sorry, I didn't realize the story stopped. Very cool, though. My cat was not a good mouser. He was a pain in the rear, and he intentionally upset my dad on more than one occasion just to get him mad. But he didn't really catch any mice. Now, we've got a dog at home. She'll get them. Mm-hmm. She will get them if she sees them, and she's on it.
See, my older cat Draco loves catching mice. He's very good at it. But his thing is he doesn't like to kill them. He just likes to catch them.
Yeah, see,
and I'm like, that's only half of the problem.
See, in our cat, he caught one once. And he batted it around for a while, wounded it so it couldn't get away, and then just laid there and watched it like squirm on the floor. I'm like, thanks, man. Thanks a lot. I'm sure the mouse appreciated it, too.
They're little psychopaths.
They certainly are. Well, a thief who used a forklift to break into a jewelry store was apprehended by Turkish police on Monday the 9th after they were aided in their investigation by footage showing the suspect riding a donkey. The Kayseri Police Department said an operation to arrest the individual was helped by reviewing security footage which showed the suspect, quote, using a forklift stolen from another address to break into a jewelry shop and steal 150 grams of 14-karat gold jewelry.
According to the police department, he was apprehended and taken into custody by their teams on the same day and was subsequently arrested by the judicial authorities and remanded to prison. The gold jewelry seized in connection with the crime was returned to his owner in full and intact.
Now, footage released by the Kayseri Police Department shows the suspect tearing open the storefront security shutter with a forklift. And before vandalizing the shop, other angles from around the town of Ildam showed the individual riding a donkey through there. He was apparently riding his donkey around drunk. I presume he was drunk, not the donkey, but you never know. Before deciding to steal the forklift and rob the shop. So that's information couldn't be independently verified, but still an interesting thing.
When I think of quick getaway cars, though, I'm thinking of donkeys and forklifts.
That's the fastest way to escape if you've committed a crime, certainly so.
Well, she says he's everything she ever wanted, attentive, responsive, and fully downloadable. When Zhu, a Chinese civil servant, was still a student, finding love and starting a family was something she believed would happen with time.
Now, today, her emotional needs are fulfilled by Kuai Yu, her first boyfriend and partner of 6 months. He's wavy-haired, handsome, and a painter.
He's also fictional. One of 5 romantic interests to choose from in Love and Deep Space, the world's biggest mobile dating game, with some 80 million users, according to research firm Sensor Tower. Caillou, known as Raphael in the English version, is also a sea god, one of the last members of an ancient race, and is not fond of most humans.
Okay. Well, the game made about $825 million in revenue globally as of last April. China state media reported that, with some estimating that its total revenue to date stands at nearly $1 billion. China accounts for around 60% of the revenue, followed by the U.S. at 19%, Japan at 9%, and estimates from AppMagic show that information there.
Zhu plays love and plays love in deep space for about an hour a day and has spent almost $1,500 on it so far. Sue has not ruled out finding a real-life boyfriend and getting married, but said she had reached a stage in her life where she was no longer anxious about doing so.
You know, I'm pretty confident. It wasn't long ago, Missouri leaders were introducing a bill to ban you to ban AI from getting married.
Or were you married?
Or
AI?
well, I think it was specific to AI, like not allow, like taking away AI rights, and this is probably why. Not to mention, they've created ones in a dating game that's not fond of humans.
He's an ancient sea god.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
Keep that in mind. I mean, I get it. I understand frustration, right? Oh,
I'm an old Russian czar, too. What do you know?
These days, let me just go date the fictional sea god
I'll tell
that
you what.
doesn't like other humans.
Oh, my word.
Goodness.
Well, that makes it, you don't have to go out, I guess. But you're spending just as much. You might as well find a real person. $1,500, good Lord.
But maybe this is where you'll find the real person if you're a donut fan.
Because donut fans in Poland were in their element on Fat Thursday, even more so those in Krakow, where a speed eating contest let them justify eating as many of the sticky pleasures as they could. Now, Fat Thursday made the last chance to eat all the sweets in the cupboard before fasting in Lent. Krakow's annual competition is a perfect excuse to gobble up all the calories as fast as possible.
At Krakow's Szczetroka Palace, the competitors got to try 3 flavors, cherry, orange, and the traditional rose. Not that the taste had a chance to register on their lips on those munching through the masses of pastry. Competition host Lucas Janis said that they had to bake donuts throughout the night to ensure there were enough and still fresh and warm for the contestants.
Well, that's certainly something there, for sure. Yeah. Well, Marcin Bales, who managed 7 donuts in the allocated time, only 7? Says,
that's not that impressive.
I have a sweet tooth, so sweets often end up in my stomach. My stomach is only 7. I mean, I guess it depends on donuts. Well, yeah, whatever. Happy donut day. We've got more of the KOA Morning News. Let's check your forecast right after this. We've got windy conditions today, tomorrow. South winds gusting 30, 35 today, 35 to 45 tomorrow, so absolutely no outdoor burning. Upper 60s today, low 70s tomorrow, mostly cloudy. Low 70s Wednesday, upper 60s Thursday. Cold front comes in late Thursday into Friday, bringing our temperatures back down to normal, maybe even a bit below normal. So get ready for a bit of a temperature shock out there. So we celebrated Valentine's Day over the weekend, and in Tulsa, well, a special type of Valentine's taking place. It's involving a stolen car, stolen plates, some meth, and a foot chase. Not exactly the Valentine's Day romance that this particular lady had in mind. On February the 14th, around 7:30, an officer stopped a stolen Dodge Charger at a Quick Trip in Tulsa near 61st and Memorial. Now, before the officer could even put the car into park, this is from Tulsa PD, by the way, the male passenger bailed out and ran into the store. His girlfriend, apparently stunned, who was also driving the car, by the way, jumped out of the car as well. You could see here, ran into the store. They ran through the Quick Trip and continued on foot into a nearby neighborhood. Now, here's the best part. This poor lady, she's only 19, by the way. They made it to a fence, and the boyfriend jumped the fence. She couldn't. So officers took her into custody while additional units responded to the area. They're still searching for the boyfriend. Hopefully, they're hoping to reunite them before too much longer. But talk about, nothing says true love like committing some felonies together, right?
It's,
you can join the raccoons.
The ones who go to jail together stay together, as they say.
That's it for our time now. We'll see you at noon.